Hi.
Hi.
All right. That was the reply I was hoping for. I think that was Venerable Cutting, right? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, yes.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Nice to see everybody. Welcome to Xuanzang's Tower. As usual, we have a wonderful program lined up for you this evening, morning, afternoon, or whatever it is for you. Uh, Thank you everyone for joining. Um, we have had one slight schedule change today. Word, unfortunately, is sick, so we are not going to be having his class today. We will still entertain you for that hour if you would like. I will lead a Q&A, so you're welcome to come, especially if you have easy questions, just fun stuff to talk about. That's kind of I'm a good person for that. See, some people are raising their hands, but I think everything is about translators and stuff. Okay, thank you very much.
I
So
want to know if they can also ask hard questions.
oh, of course, whatever you
Oh,
want.
good, 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 good. Okay, great.
We'll find somebody to answer those. So you ready? We have first Venerable Utpala's class. And I'm assuming she's here and ready to go.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, how's it going?
Um, when you were saying, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, it's like that's what's going on for me right now.
Oh, jet lag.
Having returned from Asia, I really don't know what time it is, and um, I think my body right now wants to be asleep.
But I don't
So
want
I will
to.
try my best to not fall asleep on you.
I've noticed at times it helps people talk slower for the translators if they're super tired during their class.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to think of a positive there. I'm sorry, jet lag is like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah. Let's
As you're pulling up your homework, I'll embarrass myself.
Okay.
I was jet lagged so bad. I was in Taiwan, and somebody was asking me a question, during a DCI event and during the break, and I was sitting up and I fell asleep sitting up while they asked me the question, and then I woke up and I was like 4 steps.
That's very impressive,
I
actually.
don't. I don't. It's not. It's terrible. I was. It's really embarrassing.
No, that you woke up and answered the question is,
I wish I give a sincere answer. I
Turns
just.
out they were asking where the bathroom was.
oh, I see, I see. Well,
Or
that's
how far away it was.
a problem.
In which case, it was a stroke of genius.
It
We're
was close.
vamping for you, Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I
Yeah, you just give us the signal. That's good.
I
I,
do not have a quiz,
Okay.
um, but maybe uh those of you who were in the last class, which was just a couple of weeks ago, um, can help me recall what it was we were talking about. So we're in the second half of K.J.'s masterpiece on the interlude on emptiness. And we had finished finally uh, the first part of the book, which is on Arya Asanga and Master Vasubandhu and what they think about this question of when to take the Buddha's teachings literally and when to take them figuratively. And those two brilliant uh, chariot drivers uh, are the founders of the Mind Only School. So we finished that, and now we've moved on to the second half of the book, which is about Arya Nagarjuna's another famed charioteer. his position on when the Buddha was speaking literally, when he said what he meant, and when he was speaking figuratively, when he was not. And K. J, the author of our book, is just introducing Arya Nagarjuna in similar fashion to how he introduced Arya Sangha and Master Vastabandhu, right? In our last class, Geshe Michael gave us a list of 100 some texts written by Arya Nagarjuna. This is from Nick's book, which will be coming in 2025. Woohoo! Woohoo! And we are we talked about how when the Buddha says something like giving causes wealth, or when the Buddha says kill your father and your mother, both of those, K. said, we need to interpret. We cannot take them literally for two different reasons. Does anybody remember what these two examples, wealth comes from giving, and kill your mother, kill your father? What are the two ways that we take these differently? The two ways we, the two, what do you call them? Situations that require interpretation. The first one, oh, yes, Dodo was in the room. Dodo, please.
So in the first occasion, it is because if we don't explain it, then everybody wouldn't understand it. So that's why giving makes fortune is a figurative teaching. And in the second occasion, if you take it literally, it will be very dangerous. And that's why it is also a figurative teaching.
That's a very good way of looking at it, I think. It's not exactly the way that we talked about it in the text. K. said that in the first instance, those words, wealth comes from giving, are not about the ultimate state of things. So they must be interpreted. But I like too that we do have to explain just how does that work? How is it that giving causes wealth? Did someone say something?
No.
Okay. And then in the instance of kill your father and your mother, he said that's not suitable to be taken as truth. And we have to interpret another meaning. Why is it not suitable? Probably because the Buddha set forth, in Vinaya, ways we should behave, ways we should act, and that these ways, primary amongst them, is not harming others. So it would be basically impossible for the Buddha to be saying, kill your father and your mother and mean that.
Seems right. That seems right. It contradicts a lot of other stuff he said.
Yes.
Hmm.
But we are faced with this as students of the teachings of the Buddha, we are faced with this problem, right? Because there is the appearance of the Buddha having contradicted himself in different ways, namely the one that concerns us the most, because it's all around the very key to getting out of the circle of suffering is, what did he mean when he said that nothing has any nature of its own? And he said different things in different teachings. And we talked a lot about that in previous classes. So going on now to what else did we talk about in Kyoto? We just started going through the list of books. And as my homework, which I admit to you all that I have not yet done, I was to translate a book by Arya Nagarjuna so that I could answer the question as to whether this book that's called 100 Kinds of Wisdom, Shera Kyapa, is actually about wisdom or something else.
Mm.
So
Did you
I
find
haven't
it?
finished that yet, but I will finish it for the next class.
Cool.
It's super short.
It's short, but not like super short.
For you. Good job. Do you have the text?
I do.
Exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he that's right. He didn't do that in the class. I saw him going onto an elevator and he says, "Oh, Upala, wait. Could you translate this text of Arya Nagarjuna's, please, and answer this question? Is J right that it's not about wisdom, or is it what it sounds like?"
Mm. You don't want to prove J wrong, you know?
I don't want to prove Geshe Michael wrong. I don't want to prove J wrong.
It's a real catch 22.
Yep. The elevator pitch, right? Absolutely. Okay, so we are going to pick up again in the text after that last bit. Let's see. I am sharing challenge, so just bear with me.
Sharing challenged?
Yeah, I'm challenged with regard to sharing on Zoom.
Oh. My daughter is sharing challenged, but
Oh, with regard to her toys?
yes.
Yes. No, I would love to share my toys. I want to share with you this one, I believe. Oh, sorry, I should have gone to the place and not driven you all mad.
Oh, that brings back memories, this list.
I bet it does. So we're going to pick up here. Do you see 427?
Yes, perfect. You can zoom in if you want to,
I can try to zoom in.
for us older folks. Oh, I can zoom in myself too.
Yeah, you can.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's great. I just remembered that each of us has our power to zoom in as much as we want.
Okay, so I lost the chat. Where did the chat go? Let's see if I can get the chat back. No, I don't know where it went. Yeah, sorry. Now I'm chat challenged. So I can't see you in the chat. Sorry. I need a
We'll let you know if
master.
something critical happens here.
Okay. I just need a master to teach me how to use Zoom.
You kind of have to like
Mm.
move the pointer around really fast until the chat button. It's like I don't think there's a perfect way.
Oh, there it is. I did just move the cursor around and there it came. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
You are
Sorry.
master of Zoom. All right.
If your teeth breaks, just smack it.
So would someone like to read? I know that there were a number of people in Kyoto who were excited to read. So there must be some people here who would be excited to read. Well, Venerable Karing, I see your lovely smiling face. Could you please read?
Thank you. And by the way, my last note from your last class was that you were leaving us on a cliffhanger.
Oh,
So I'm very excited.
well, let's see if we reach the cliff. I promise I will not push anyone over the edge.
We hope you do. Kepar sabmo wume lam selpar chepala
Selwar,
selwar chepala deko nani nge dongi lung tang jar ne tunpa du kun
do,
do kun le tutang rik pe ton pala rik sok ki shung sa wa sherab rik pa ruk chupa
druk, chupa,
druk chupa tongni dun chupa zo lok
z, dok,
z dok shimo nam dak rinchen jeng wa nam se ching.
lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I bet that Nick could translate this in an instant
Possibly.
because he translated that or wrote that long list of texts by Arya Nagarjuna. But let's start at the beginning here. Kepar, does anyone know Kepar? So Kepar Sabmo,
Probably especially regarding the deep teachings here.
yeah, I took it as his special insight.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
provisionally.
Maybe even
Yeah,
his
that makes sense.
special tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, specialty. And some, I did find that one possible English equivalent of sabmo was insight. But so it could be Kepar is a feature or specialty, and then sabmo would be profound. So his profound specialty. Uma, we know as
Middle way.
middle way, yes, and this would be Umalam, the path of the middle way. And Selwar Chepa.
He made it real clear.
Yeah, clarifying the path of the middle way.
So it looks like, I guess he's saying, especially these are the books that specifically clarify the path of the middle way, right?
Yeah.
He
wrote on a bunch of stuff, but especially, or
right.
his specialty, was clarifying the profound path of the middle way.
Right. So if we come down here to the verb,
He wrote them.
it's say, which means to compose or write. And then we have this particle here, nam, which is a pluralizing particle. So
Mhm.
we know this is following
It's a big long list in this case.
something that is more than one.
Mhm.
But let's go back up farther to here. Dekonani.
Mm.
Does anyone remember what dekonani means?
Suchness?
Suchness, yes.
Yeah.
And ngidun,
What we've been talking about.
yeah,
Literal meaning.
the
Uh-huh.
definitive meaning, yeah. So, oh, cool, the definitive meaning of suchness. And then we have this phrase here. Lungang charne tompa do kun le tu,
Mhm.
which we've seen kun le tu before.
Yeah, it's compendium.
Yeah, Samuchaya, compendium. And we've got Do, which is sutra. And then we've got Tunpa, which is to teach or reveal or demonstrate from. And then we've got Lung Dang Char.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Scripture and practice, I guess. I'm trying to figure out
Oh.
irony.
This Dang could be with instead of and. Like by combining together
Mhm.
Those-
scriptural authority on this topic of the definitive meaning of suchness into a compendium.
to a compendium.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he like put together a bunch of lung into
Into a
a
compendium.
sutra samuchaya,
Yeah.
which is probably the name of a book.
Yep.
Well, we know it's a name of a book, but not written by him,
Oh, no.
Right.
right?
Could be. There was he had some. We could search that list if we wanted to.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I won't do it here because it will make everyone dizzy.
yeah.
Mm.
But I
He
will
did so I remember some of his titles seemed familiar. I mean,
right. So then we get into a list that should be really familiar to those of us who've been involved in the mixed nuts classes, as well as some retreats that Geshe Michael has had. So we've got Rikpe Tumpala Ritsoki Chung. So this is talking about a book, the collection of works on logic, which use logical reasoning.
Mhm.
Then we've got Sawashera,
Mhm.
the root text on wisdom. Then we've got Rikpa Drukchupa, which is the 60 verses on reasoning, which Nick loves very much. Ong Ni Dun Chupa,
70 verses.
Yeah.
which is usually we see this as the 70 verses on reasoning, but here it says the 70 verses on emptiness.
Mhm.
And the Sanskrit would seem to suggest that it's that as well, because it's Shunyata Saptati.
Yeah.
I'll put that here. And we know Shunyata is emptiness. Then we have Zundok.
Stopping.
Now, would you put a heavy prenasal with a ba prefix as well? Should it be Zundok?
Geshe Michael says Zendok when he says it.
Okay, tsundok,
Mhm.
which Geshe Michael has translated as ending all argument.
Mm.
So we know is to debate, right? Or a debate.
Yeah.
And dok,
Mhm.
shipmo nampak.
Mhm.
Geshe Michael translates this as crushing to a fine dust.
Mhm.
And then another favorite of Nick's,
Oh, PTWN.
Vincent Trengwa.
Good one. I recommend it.
Favorite of Xiaoping's too, but for a different reason.
Hmm.
Her book is named the same thing, String of Precious Jewels.
I believe this is where that book is where the giving creates wealth comes from as well. We didn't get there yet, but I think it's from this book.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we have this long list of books. And then Geshe Michael kindly copied for us from the introduction a discussion about the 6 books.
Mm.
Since J next, I think, goes into what these 6 books, what their specialty is, I thought we would just move on. And let's see. Monica Torres, would you like to read?
She's translating.
She's translating. Yay, thank you for translating. Oscar, would you like to read?
Yes, thank you. Tayang trupya tengu ngokpe rikpa yepartumpa tsawa sharaptang dengu trupe trupche shengi takpetoke sikdun chutukla sopagokpa shimonam tak tsela tsundokni tsasherap chetang pole chupate.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, let's see. I like to go to find the verb first. And it's a very interesting verb. Chirpa.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know what chirpa means?
Is this the one that means like emanation, like emanate,
Emanate,
or
elaborate.
elaborate?
Yeah.
Oh, elaborate.
Spread.
Okay. All I could find was like shine forth, but I haven't done looking through all the already translated
Oh, that's
books. But that would be fine if we were elaborating. So, okay, good. So, Daeyong here, I'm taking as, excuse me. Oh, I can't mute, so I'm sorry. Daeyong, I'm taking as namely, but hopefully you will see why I think that later on. Trucha, logicians should know this well, yeah?
Proof.
The subject or the thesis to be proven. Denne as a abbreviation of Dendrup Kimnupo, which is
like real things.
Things established, truly existent things. Gokpa.
The lots of logic that denies that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rikpa is the reasoning, and Gepar,
Mm. Extensive.
extensive. I don't normally
Um,
hear that word used with Arya Nagarjuna. He's
mm,
Mr. Succinct in my book.
Maybe you gave a lot of succinct reasonings.
Yeah, maybe it's a lot of succinct reasonings. Yeah. Tunpats demonstrate or show Sawashero. So, oh, good. Now
mm,
here's something we know. Root text on wisdom. So, root text on wisdom sets forth in great detail reasonings that refute truly existing things.
mhm,
Nice, nice.
Take a breath. Okay, good.
mm,
We have our Dengu again,
Mm,
truly existing things, or things truly exist.
mm,
And here we're going to have a little grammar lesson. We've got Drupa, and then we've got Drup J.
mhm. Debate grammar.
mm, mhm,
Right. So Drup Ja
Your pa.
is Drupa. Sorry, this
uh,
camera's right in front of the text.
uh,
Maybe I can move it over. There. Drup
yeah.
Ha. Drupe Drup J. So Drup J is reasoning, and Drupa is to prove or establish.
Uh,
So
the proofs
Drupe,
for proving.
what's that?
The proofs for proofing.
The proofs for proving. Yeah. Then we've got Shenki
Mm,
Mhm.
by others. Takpa, we remember from meditation or emptiness meditations text. We talked a lot about Takpa, which is to label or impute. And Tokgate is
That
it's
blaze.
another word for logic,
Oh,
but
mhm,
it also could be sophistry, which could be Kejubche's way of getting a little dig into somebody, which I think he may be doing.
mm,
Sikten Chudru, the
mm,
the 16 meanings of words,
mm,
La Sopa and the like.
mm.
mm. Did you search Master Nagarjuna's list to see if he had a title that contains something like that?
I don't think that's his.
Okay.
Because of this little, I'm thinking dig,
Yeah.
and because we're talking about proofs for proving things as truly existent, I'm thinking this is probably written by, well, then we have here others.
It could be Master
Um,
Bava Viveka.
so I will search and find out if there is something
There,
called the 16.
there are 16 categories in the non-Buddhist Nyaya school, the logician school, uh, which are their formulation of reality or something. So if it was by others, right, their way, it's refuting their way of using 16 categories, these other logicians' way of using 16 categories to establish real things.
That's lovely. So what is the name of that group again?
Nyaya, we called them the logicians in Great Ideas.
Great. Thank you so much.
And look, that's why we made me do this.
And that's why they make us do team stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because, and another reason why I think it's got to be someone that we wouldn't agree with is because we're going to, Gopa, we're going to refute, or we're not going to, but Shipmo Nam Tak, crushing to a fine dust,
Mm.
refutes that logic, which he
Right.
wrote. And I'm taking this law to be as well as
Mhm.
Zundok, ending argument. So I'm taking this this law is like setting up a whole nother setting up this as a phrase that hangs together because
think-
this me shows up again.
Yes.
I think it's, oh, if I may,
Yeah.
because there's the verb, right? The ze, so it's kind of ending that section right there.
Yeah.
Shimon does that, and
Okay.
then Sundogni. As for stopping all argument,
Okay.
Tashirab che Dangpo lay. It's an extension of the first chapter of the text on wisdom. So it's using tripa like not like an elaboration, but like an extension.
Yeah.
Like a
Extension. I
yeah.
like that. So it's an
Yeah.
extension of the first chapter.
Yeah. So J. I think that they're called J's.
Cool.
That this is chapter.
I think so. I remember it being a really weird word for chapters, but somebody who was at one of the more recent Arya Nagarjuna retreats may remember better than I do.
Cool. Now, what about spelling the root text on wisdom in this way?
Oh, Sa Shade. Whoa. Oh, it's Rabjay. That's why. It's Sashay Rabjay. That's what
Yeah,
Rabjay is the name of the chapter, is the word for chapter. So it's not Shadab at all.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
It's Rabjay.
Yeah, Rabjay means chapter. So Rabjay Dangpo means the first chapter.
Excellent.
I had a feeling something was wrong. And Sashay is the quick way that we say Tsawa Shera.
Oh, sachet,
Yeah.
even though shay itself is not a word.
Sashay. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just saying sashay. Yeah, there probably should be a. That's weird, right? It should be. No, I guess.
It comes up. I see it in dictionaries as a variant
Oh,
that
you do?
exists, as sort of a shorthand that
Okay.
someone else seems to have noticed,
Mhm.
even though you would expect a sa on the end.
Right.
Right.
hmm
Okay. Cool.
Apparently, is not unheard of.
Right.
Okay. So we've got ending all argument being an extension of the first chapter of the root text on wisdom.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
hmm
Okay, moving along. Marina, would you like to read?
Uh-huh.
Aha.
It's a
I
short one.
can't see if you're shaking your head.
Gën pon nam kirang ni quien la sokla yin ma in. She sung pala. Yeah,
Lovely.
yes, yeah.
Geshe Michael replaced yang with yu. So
Interesting.
mopo, we know, means
Things.
things. Yeah, I think we're using the more general idea of mopo here, and not a functioning thing or a working thing, but just things. Mopo nam. Rangshin, or I should say Rangshin.
Their essence, the nature of things.
Right. The true nature of things. Kien latsok. So kien,
Condition.
condition
Yeah.
or circumstance.
Yeah.
Latsok.
Almost causes.
What's that?
Almost causes. I mean, in this
Almost causes.
context, almost suggests that.
Right, in this context. Because normally we see kien as a secondary cause, or like the
Right.
conditioning factors, like the earth and the water,
Yeah.
the sunlight, or the cause of a tree, which is a seed.
Right. Right.
But
But
without
then
the earth and the
the
water and the sunlight, the tree's not going to grow.
mhm, mhm.
Yemayin,
Its nature isn't in that.
do not exist
Mhm.
Yeah.
in the circumstances or the causes and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the true nature of things does not exist in the causes.
Uh-huh.
End quote. So that, does anyone want to take a guess as to which philosophical school that might be taking a jab at?
Uh,
Oh, a lot, I think. I think that's a common historical idea that the true nature of a thing is its cause. I think that's a Sankhya thing also. I think yeah, maybe a lot of different schools would say something to that effect.
Right.
the functionalist in general, isn't it,
Yep.
that things are dependent upon their causes and conditions?
Right.
So it's the first three schools of
So
Buddhism.
yeah, this smells of middle way.
Or a middle way critique.
Mm.
So then we have another verse. And do I have a volunteer? No, volunteering doesn't work. Dodo, would you like to read, please?
Yes, ma'am. Kéo tê ngư bó tham dê kỳ rang xin gân la yu min na. Kyu gi tsik yang rang xin me rang xin dok bar min nu so.
Okay. So I kind of tied these two together, Kalte and Na, and proposing that would be something like, if it's the case that
Mhm.
Ngopo Tamche,
All stuff.
all
Everything.
things, Rang Shin Kunla,
Everything, it's everything's nature, the nature of all things.
the self nature of all things,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
Is not an existing thing.
Hmm.
So if it's the case, the self nature of all things does not exist. Kyuki tsik kyang
Your
Yeah,
level
even,
two.
yeah,
is
even that, even your
kyuki
words.
would be your, and
Mhm.
sik is words,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
Even
Kyuki tsik kyang also, your words also,
Rangshin.
rangshin me,
yeah.
are without a self nature.
Mhm.
Rangshin dokpar minu.
Oh,
So minu, what does that mean?
you can.
Cannot.
Cannot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Unable.
I decided to be a little bit poetic and say powerless.
Yeah.
Powerless to
That's cool.
refute a self nature. If it's the case that the self nature of all things does not exist, your words also are without self nature, powerless to refute self nature.
Good point.
That's got to be somebody else. And lo and behold, it is taken from an entirely different text.
Mhm.
Oh, I was thinking Nagarjuna would say something like that too.
Mm.
So, so then we come down here to Cater J's explanation of what's going on with these quotes. And we know that because he starts with Shay.
Mhm.
So, and then he just basically repeats the entire first line. If it's the case that all things are without a self nature. I mean, he didn't have the kun in there, but that's okay. Kyokitsik, lung, another word for also, don't have a self nature. Your words also don't have self nature. Daytana, if it's like that, Tsiki Shenki, Tsikde Shenki, I always get confused when this particle shows up after the first word in a phrase.
Day by those.
Those words.
Okay. But words other than those?
Day.
Day shen. Does the shen modify the day? Or is it modifying the tsik?
I think we're gonna have to see the rest of the sentence.
Okay, let's move on. When in doubt, move on.
Paratrooper bunnies.
Rangshin, I don't know what's going on there, but that's gone. Okay, so we know this word Rangshin here, which is there is a self nature, but then we've got this dam particle, which means or.
Oh, it's not dam chepa.
Or it could be dam chepa.
Like dam cha isn't. I mean, maybe I'm getting. In fact, I think you're right. I think if I was thinking it was dam cha, but that's GDAM, right?
I think it's Damkepa. It means assertion and it follows a gokpa.
Right. We have these two together, chepa, gokpa. Oh, yeah, no, I'm confused.
Yeah, damche might be a position or something or
Well, it means a promise.
promise. Yeah,
What does
Or one who makes an assertion.
Tom Cha is the position.
yeah.
It's
That's
the
what
position.
So it refutes the Damcha of Rangshin, a nature existing that the others have. So Shengi, others position.
Okay, great.
Yeah, those
So,
words.
yeah, tikde refute by these words refute the position that others have.
Yeah. Well, in this case, Mite, it should not be able to refute others' position. The Tang, nor should it be able to group establish um uh
Well, see, I put these together. Dakdruki jache mitepar kuro. That it would be illogical to refute or establish.
yeah
Yeah, that sounds right.
But this one up here is giving me little headaches.
Well, the refute and establish, there's what it would establish would be the Rangshin Mebe Rang Luk, our own position, right? So Rang Luk, as opposed to Shen, our position of a lack of self
Oh,
nature.
okay. Okay, so this is or, sort of.
Yeah, the and is or. Sorry, the and is or. That's terrible. The tong is or. Yeah,
Oh,
right. And then it's weird because the gok and droop, I think, yeah, give points to the two different things that happen. So it can't gok the first one or droop the second one. Words with no nature can't gok, can't refute others' positions that there is a true nature, nor can it prove our position that there's no true nature.
so what is
It's good to be saying that, yeah, there's something confusing, right? Like, Tsikte Shenki Rangshin Yupardam Che Bagokpa. It seems like it's saying these words do refute the position that others hold, that things have their own nature. And, or,
but.
yeah, but Rangshin Mepe Rangluk, our position that things have no nature, being established, things like establishing it, Gakjuki Jaje, it's incorrect to say that it's a thing which could deny or establish. And that's what Tsupa says, probably Tsundok.
Yeah, it can't do either one.
Yeah.
Right.
It can't deny, it can't prove, and these are examples of things that it can't deny and can't prove. So I think the Mite distributes Gepar extensively.
Could be. It could be before the comma, before the shape.
So it would distribute to this, and
Yes. Yes. And the other droop, the droop before the tsokpa, the drupa, it goes to three places, I think. So it goes to that gokpa, it goes to the drupa, yeah. No, the drupa to the left of that, not that drupa. I mean, yes, that drupa goes to that drupa, but it also goes to the gok droop.
Yeah, Gokdrup maybe is summarizing, maybe.
Yeah.
He's like, it can't deny other people's position. You can't prove our position. You can't deny or prove anything.
Okay, right.
It's not
Yeah, these are examples of things that can't gok and droop.
Yeah.
Thus the soap.
It does that's what it looks like is happening to me.
Great.
And then it says She Tsupa. Oh,
right.
Somebody said that, and then he's going to quote Tsundok, maybe?
Some
That's
debate.
their debate. Yeah, I guess.
Or debate.
Mm-hmm.
So 431 is as far as I got. So now we can go into new territory together.
Uh-oh.
In our remaining 7 minutes.
Thank goodness.
De Dokpe. Oh, someone to read, please. Nick, could you read, please?
Absolutely. Shesel? No.
De Dok.
Okay. He Dokpe Chir to Rangshin Mebe Tsigi Shenluk Ngok Patang Rangluk Chupa Tepe Tsu Gepar Tumpatsindo Ki Shunglak Manam Sungpa Yimbe So.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so our verb here is interesting. Is taught?
Sungpa, and it is, yeah. It is taught.
Yeah. I mean, that book says whatever this
or
is.
By these words or something?
Well, it seemed like he was quoting something. Quoting something.
So you think this is a quote?
Yeah, up to Sungpa.
I mean, I think the book is this. We're talking about what the book does, like what this sung is, like what he says in this book. Um,
In order to deny them,
yeah, right. In order to deny, right, that.
by these words
Right.
with nature of their own.
Yeah, by these, right, yeah, right, with these words that don't have a nature of their own. That's great.
Yeah, we
Then
can deny. Seems like he's about to say as far as denying the systems of others and
we
proving
deny that system and prove our system. Yeah, great.
in a way which is correct.
Yeah,
Say,
real nice. We have a system for doing that, which an extensive system for doing that, which is just fine.
yeah,
Yeah, it
and
teaches that.
in the text called Sundok, stopping all argument.
Uh-huh.
Shung Lakmanams.
With the rest of that text, like what's the remaining text is spent on that.
Uh,
All the remaining.
Shung Lakma, yeah, must be the rest of the book. Let's see, Sundok.
The many remainings.
Yeah, it looks like he's
Mm.
talking about. Looks like he's kind of saying that the subject of that book is how to show that words with no meaning can do so many powerful things.
That's
Words,
beautiful.
words with no nature of their own.
That's great. How delightful is that?
Sounds like
And
a
what do you think that this is then?
Geshe.
How we ended the previous section.
Maybe he's saying maybe Tsupala is something like as for Tsundok, because now he's talking about Tsundok. But I don't know.
Oh,
Or he could be saying as for how to dispute or how to debate. Like how can we debate? Tsupala, he's introducing something.
right.
So either how can we use words to debate or as for the words of that book.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Like a shortcut for Sundok.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
Because
abbreviation.
it's woven in there. It says Tsupala de dokpe chirdu
Right.
in order to stop arguments.
Yeah, those arguments. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Erection, maybe. I kind of like, yeah, obviously you're gonna have to sit with it with a nice cup of coffee. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, we've got 3 minutes. Ben, can you read this one?
Mhm. Donyi dun chupa yang sa she. There's that spelling again.
Yeah.
She rab je dunba le chupa te rab je ter milan jishin gyuma shin trisa trise konkier jishin du. Deshin Kiedang Deshin Ne Deshin Duni Jikpar Sung Shepa La Galwe Lendu Shung De Zepayin La.
mm-hmm. It looks like the tr is doing the same thing it did above.
Um,
The first line.
it is what did we say? I know it starts with EX.
Extension.
Extension.
Mm.
Okay. An extension of the seventh verse of the root text on with. Okay, so the
We decided Rabje is a chapter.
right. So the not verse chapter. Got it. So the Tongni Dunshupa, the 70 verses on emptiness or reasoning, also is an extension of or from the 7th chapter of Root.
Rootwise.
Yeah.
Rootwise.
Rootwise.
And then we have
That chapter from
As
that.
for that chapter, but it doesn't say, okay, yeah, as for that chapter, Milam,
Dream.
A dream.
dream,
I think Milam Jishim as in a
Like
dream,
yeah,
like a dream, like an illusion,
yeah, like a
uh,
dream.
like an
Like an
illusion.
like a
Yeah,
dream.
yeah.
It's got that diamond cutter feel to it.
Miran Jishin,
And
Kyuma
G
Shin.
is like a chi, like whatever illusion
Whatever appears in a dream.
That
or
sounds like
whatever.
a meter thing to me.
Totally.
Really?
Like Jishin versus Shin. Yeah,
I bet
might probably.
you can probably take some poetic license and make this sound super mystical.
Hmm. Right. Now you
Oh,
have to
darn,
have a
we're out of
glass of
time.
wine, as Geshe Michael says,
Uh,
figuratively.
or a whole bottle.
Uh-huh. Have a glass of wine before you translate this,
Yeah, good
which
idea.
is as ill-advised as other figurative teachings.
Do we want to continue working on this verse or start chatting about what we have worked on thus
chat.
far?
You're on a roll with these cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another cliffhanger, just like illusions in a dream.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dot, dot, dot.
If your teacher were here, I bet you he'd at least give you that verse for homework.
Well,
No
it's going to be
doubt.
all these verses we've done thus far,
Right, that's true. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
as well as the
Yeah.
other book by Nagarjuna.
As well as the other book. Yeah.
I will prepare those for January's class. Whee!
Right.
That's right.
Thank
You've got till next year to do it.
This does look fun. This verse from 70. Now it's making me want to read the 7th chapter of Sashe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, huh, let's talk about what we've talked about.
Whoa, whoa. All right.
So, I mean, it's pretty provocative
Mm.
to say that if nothing has any self-nature, how is it that someone could use words to say that something doesn't have a self-nature? How is that even possible?
Yeah. How I love this. I love this kind of type of discussion. It's so cool. How is it possible that I mean, this is obvious, right? But Geshe Michael used to say this, like, if you don't believe that just because something doesn't have any nature of its own doesn't means it doesn't exist or it doesn't function, then take your imaginary body and walk into the imaginary road in front of an imaginary bus and see what happens.
I think he said don't do that, but
Oh,
yes.
right. Yes, of course.
I think it's like, what do you think would happen if you?
Mhm.
I think he really said, take a pen and draw mustaches.
Yeah. He said, I love it because he says it'll break your illusory legs. You'll go to the illusory hospital. And my favorite part is he says you'll get an illusory bill.
That's very important, by the way. That's very,
Very Geshe Michaelian.
yeah, yeah. You can stop the screen share if you,
Oh, great, thank you.
so we can see our beautiful faces.
Collectively, it's true.
That's what I mean.
Well, there's at least two of them here on the screen. No, there's at least
Many.
there's
Look,
many
they're
more than
all
that.
here. Look how
Many
beautiful.
people.
Many more than that.
Thank you, brave souls, for having your cameras on. Yeah, so, but it's still the question always it's cool if that question comes up, right? Like, these words have no nature, so they don't truly prove anything. So do they truly?
Well, yeah. And somehow KWJ is going to tie this into what is literal and what is figurative. I bet really soon.
Kind of a cool segue he's taken.
But it does sound like what is it? Is sophistry? Like every illogical argument that, like when someone uses logic to say that they don't believe in logic,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
Huh. I think sophistry is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's right. Even the opponent is guilty of what they are accusing us of if they think they can use logic that way. But they say that the words do have meaning, so maybe they're covered. I have this feeling about words in our head, and and I think it's easy to write off the blah blah in the back of our brain as meaningless. But one of the things that really hit me in retreat, being quiet. Um, People that ask me sometimes, like, did you ever like get into like an utterly wordless state where there was just like no words for anything anymore? And no, I didn't. Um, but the words in my mind were louder uh, when I wasn't speaking out loud, and it showed me how I'm sorry to say mean they were. That there was a lot of kind of I was very hard on myself, and I always think of this. I don't know. I don't know if I should say who it is, though. This person has passed, and an older gentleman who would yell at his partner, and he never understood why he would yell at his partner. I don't know why. It just comes out of me. And then we came to meet him one day, and he didn't know we were there, and he was yelling at himself alone. Like, yeah, so stupid. I don't know why the heck I'm trying to with a golly, such a jerk, and I don't would have. And it just occurred to me that if there's this whatever meaningless string of abuse going on in the back of your head, right?
Mm.
Not like based on it. It's just bubbling up. Then when someone else is in front of you, right? You want to be kind to someone else. You think you would never do that to someone else, but you're not going to be able to stop it. Even if the words don't really mean anything. It's not really based on anything. It's just a chain of events happening. It's just causes bubbling up. It's seeds, it's little karmas, it's little habits, it's little tendencies to just have these thoughts. It's going to hurt other people too. And I really felt this sense that I had to be kinder with my words in my head. They're just words. It's just blah, blah. But somehow I had to be kinder with those words towards myself if I wanted to be kinder to other people.
Yeah, that was one of the methods I used to get out of depression, was
Mm.
to, instead of calling myself all kinds of words that I can't repeat in public, I started calling myself sweetheart. I mean,
Mm.
those other names would come up, and then I would go, "Oh no, sweetheart."
Yeah.
And at first, it was just like, "Oh, that's just ridiculous," you know. You never talk like that to anybody.
Uh-huh.
But I kept doing it, and by golly, if it didn't seem to make a difference.
That's great. That's great. Like you were telling yourself, how could this word work? It has no power of its own because I don't really mean it. And then you kept doing it. That's very inspiring.
And Utpala, backing that up, I talk to myself like my little 4-year-old little girl. I try to speak to her and soothe her and calm her the way I would love, to be calmed by a mother. And that's really helped me remember to speak kindly to others as well.
Yeah.
It's not, the power doesn't exist inherently in the words, but the kindness that I can give to myself with my quiet thinking with my words in my mind, I'm practicing to share that with others.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really nice that the thought of little like baby Ben, baby Utpala, baby Kading, right? And I can be hard on myself, but if I think of that little guy, I would never yell at him. I wouldn't do that.
Right?
Um,
You wouldn't talk
and
to your
that
son that way.
no, but even if somehow I could go back in time and visit, if you could go back in time and visit the baby version of you, uh, like what would you like? You would hug them, you would love them, you would want to encourage them. And it is, in fact, not too late. They are right here.
Yeah. That's it's a practice that is actually well documented in Western psychology, at least.
Oh, really?
Inner child work. I mean, what you're talking about, and it's amazing. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. But I did find what you guys were saying helpful in a different way. Almost thinking this is funny, but I find it practical as a married person. uh, Almost to think of the power that the words do have rather than that they don't. Just the way that you were talking about it. And sometimes when you hear someone else talking to you a certain way, this is what I liked about the story that you shared, Ben. When you hear somebody else talking to you in a certain way, and you're like, well, they just must have on some level, like if you really are surprised, sometimes you deserve it, I guess, but quote unquote, you know, in a way that has no power. But sometimes it could be helpful to think about that that's the words that they're hearing in their mind, and that's why they're talking to you that way. And I think that can be helpful to stop all argument, as Nagarjuna would say.
Yeah. Another thing to sort of keep in mind is that the independent branch of the middle way is a part of the middle way. And they would say that there's something inside a logical argument that would reach a conclusion.
Mhm. That words have power.
Yeah.
It's weird. I often wonder this. I mean, this is less practical, but when we kind of simplified the teaching on the schools, but does the lower middle way assert that words have power, or does it just not deny enough?
Well, it has to come together. That there has to be some meaning in the word that is also like understood as such by the one speaking or hearing it.
Yeah. I mean, that is
Those
what.
two have to come together.
That's
But
right.
alone, I'm not sure you could. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out in this book. It would be fun if we go a little deeper into the independent branch. But
There's an appendix in the 60 verses that I spent many hours helping work on, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
I just recently reread your appendix, and it's hard, and
Hard.
it's worthy of quite a bit of meditation on the question of whether that school means to say
Yeah.
that words have their own nature, or whether we accuse them of being stuck with that position because of other things they've said.
well,
Yeah.
because of other things they've said, so we're the ones with the problem with the words have meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I think that the higher middle way method is to say something so wild and profound that your ignorance gets confused and hides in a hole for a minute, and you're left in some sort of blissful state of
Confusion.
yeah, but like your ignorance gets confused and distracted for a moment, and you see reality. Um, Somehow your Arya Nagarjuna's mysterious quips are supposed to lead us to a state of mind that is, beyond seeing things as really one way or really another way, as opposed to talking someone into a position that's a new way of getting stuck in an idea.
Right.
Yeah, that seems to be the point.
Yeah. Obviously, words have no inherent nature. I just always think of Geshe Michael's arguments about what restaurant we should go to, and I've used so many different forms of logic with Kendra about what sorts of restaurants we should go to on any given night. And it doesn't matter how tight my logic is. It doesn't convince her that she wants to go there.
Funny example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of words with no meaning, this conversation has just gone nowhere. No, I'm just kidding.
It's time to stop spewing words out into the world.
This actually has been a fascinating conversation and a great exploration of your text. Thank you so much, Venerable Upala. That was great. And it's nice to see you. And I hope that you recover fully from your jet lag with ease.
Thank you.
But it is really, I appreciate you showing up and leading the class. And
yeah, of course.
Powering through. I see Mr. Juan Hasso proudly standing by.
Yay.
To deliver with words which have no nature of their own, the news. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then, well, I'll say one more thing. Stay tuned. After Juan is finished, in about 15 minutes, I will lead a Q&A. If you would like to stay tuned, I will be here.
For all the hard questions. Yeah.
Easy, fun questions. We can just blah, blah. So it'll be fun. All right. Thanks, Juan. Take it away.
Thanks, Nick. So I thought that was your way to introduce me when you say, speaking of words with no meaning. And then I just laugh. But anyways, thank you so much for keeping the fort every time Geshe goes on vacation. Because I don't know, I think it's very beautiful how, it's like more than 300 people tuning to these classes. And it's really, really wonderful that you guys keep doing it every single week, no matter what. So congratulations and thank you very much. So yeah, as you know, Geshe Michael and Veronica, they went out of town for a few days. They are spending Christmas with family in Tucson. And then some of us that had the opportunity to stay here in Sedona, we were, designated with a very special, important mission. And I want to show you the pictures. So does any of you knows who this one is? You can type in the chat if you know. For one picture before, you can see that she's upset. And if you know why she's upset, you can also type in the chat. Her name is Ophelia. Apparently the name comes from one of the characters in Shakespeare. I don't know which one, I don't know what book, or I don't know anything, but that's what I hear. And she's very upset because we are supposed to feed her every time, twice a day, sometimes one, but it's okay. But because today I had a crazy, crazy day, one of my very good friends, Lindsay, went there. And can you show next picture, please? Show up, and then she sees someone's coming, so she starts to relax. And then we want to share what happened with the video. The first video we had this afternoon of her. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a picture, but before that comes a video that I'm sure our dear tech table is going to figure it out very, very soon. Yay.
We're here with Juan and his brand new t-shirt. Juan, tell us about this.
This was a picture. So this is an idea that...
this is a problem. We're having technical difficulties. Okay, let's start over. Welcome to today's Peach Reward News. Yes, thank you so much. That's the video we had from Ofelia today. Wonderful, right? Very, very beautiful. We couldn't ask for more. Anyways, okay, if it's not working, it's not working. Oh, it's working now, okay. Okay, so Lindsay shows up there. She knows the recipe. She knows everything that needs to happen. And Ophelia gracefully accept the offering. So we are resting at peace because day one was accomplished. She's partaking of the food and the drinks we provided today for her. And then you can see her eating happily in the next picture. And then we are so glad because for the next 3 days, while Geshe Michael and Veronica are with family celebrating Christmas, we will be taking care of Ophelia. So thank you so much for everyone who's making this possible. Thank you, Lindsay. And thank you, Gina, as well, for sharing the videos. Yay. Yeah. Apparently, Geshe Michael says that he's allergic to her, but he loves her so much. But it's difficult, he says, difficult. How can you love someone when it's so difficult to touch her? That's what he said the other day, or something in those lines. Anyways, she's super, super happy and super, super comfortable living in the rainbow house. Okay, in other news, Team Lowenhub. Team Lowenhub just came back from Taiwan, and he shared with me a few videos and a few pictures from his trip. Of course, we're going to collect more, but I want to show this little compilation he sent, and then I'll describe a little bit of what happened. So if we can, let's go to second video. Video number 2, please. Yes.
We're here with Juan and his brand new t-shirts. Juan, tell us about this.
Oh, this was a picture. So this is an idea that Professor Tim Lowen had in order to help us to fundraise for next year to shoot on this budget. Thank you so much for helping. I think she said somebody give it to her. But thank you so much for the interest and the good vibes. Thank you, Tim, as well.
Okay, so I don't know if Tim is here because he said he was going to try to be here to talk a little bit about it, but he's flying also to Pennsylvania to see his family. He's from Pennsylvania and he went there for Christmas. So if he's not here, I guess we will have a talk with him later, but he sent these pictures and he told me a little overview of what happened. After Japan, he helped Peachtree World News with some merch. He produced some t-shirts. I didn't know about it, but he produced some t-shirts that say, "Where is Juan?" I don't know, apparently, because sometimes people look after me and they don't know where I am or something like that. You know, Tim's ideas. But they sold very well. So he helped us to collect some budget for next year. Thank you, Tim, very, very much. Then he flew to Taiwan after Japan, and he said the people there are very, very excited and very, very receptive for the teachings. He's planning big things this year. And also Brian Mendoza there, he presented some project on, you know, the Taiwan team is supporting so many projects all over the world, especially they are supporting a lot Mexico and different projects happening there as the migrants, FMP4, and other things like Casa Huichol. Some of you may know Jerónimo, Aldo, many of the teachers in Mexico, their background comes from linked to Casa Huichol. So we want to thank a lot the people in Taiwan, and whenever Tim is available, we'll have a talk about it. But I wanted also to remind you, because now we're talking about Brian, he designed a website where you can get to know how to use technology, tech skills, software and hardware. And these skills are specifically designed for whatever the worldview organizations need. So I want to soon also have a talk with Brian about it. Just heads up, he's adding more and more tutorials in this website. You follow the QR code and you can sign up. Don't worry, it's totally free. It may ask you for your information or something, but you don't have to pay anything. Just play along with the information, the registration, but it's totally free, and you can access the videos that he designed in order to help us all to develop our tech skills, if that's something we feel interested in. Okay, and just a general reminder of the very, very upcoming projects before we move on is the New Year's retreat in Diamond Mountain with Gyelse. It's going to be on the 29th to the 3rd. I mean, I know it's almost coming soon, but if you're already in the American continent, which of course it goes from Alaska all the way to Argentina and Chile, that's what I mean by American continent. So in a way, we Mexicans are also Americans. You can make it. If you are in a different continent, it may be difficult, but if you really want, maybe you can still make it. December 29th to January 3rd. And then in January, the Emptiness Meditations Retreat. You can get your book there from Diamond Cutter Press, and then get to Diamond Mountain already with your book as a very good student on January the 17th. And for those of you who are not going to go to this retreat, you are welcome to come to our New Year's event, which is going to be hosted at the Peachtree Cafe. It's going to go the program is going to go from 2 to 3 p.m., only 1 hour. Geshe Michael is going to be there. Geshe Michael is going to be presenting some of the very, very news on his own personal translation, Illumination of the True Thought, one of the most wonderful pieces that Jetson Kappa wrote. And he's going to be talking about it as part of this wonderful, wonderful program. So you can sign up online, or if you're around, come live. After the event at 3, we're going to have a lunch party time, 3 to 5 p.m., and everyone is welcome. Okay, and finally, just to close, a few days ago, I wanted to show you a video, but we had technical difficulties. So I'm going to leave you with this video, and then we can move on to wonderful Q&A with Nick Lashaw. Hope you enjoy. It's just a summary of some things that I experienced or that I recorded in Kyoto. For me, it's like a way to summarize a little bit of the whole trip. Hope you enjoy, and then we move on with Q&A. Tim Lashaw.
All my friends, and especially my wife, they don't know why Marie Kondo is so famous for talk with me.
私の友達、私の奥さんも含めてなんで、アニメさんみたいな。
really help you who has a training, okay? Don't look at the clothes and wow, okay? Check the person carefully, spend some time. You don't know how many hours I spent online to find a good surgeon. You know, I'm not gonna go to some guy next door, you know. I'm gonna find the best one. I found the best one. I think he's the best one, maybe in the US or
Mira, la onda es que yo conecté el audio a mi compu. Y mi compu no está en la sesión de Zoom. No importa.
The fact that it is so crappy, like bad quality, just is why it's funny.
Are you talking about the Peachtree one?
No. I'm talking about SNL.
Nice. Thank you so much, Juanito. That was a beautiful video.